Hey guys, welcome to the Engineer's Perspective. I'm Devani. We got Victor here. Special guest today, Austin Calo.
What's up?
Oh
my God,
It's on the clap noise.
I can't with you
yeah,
already.
add the claps in. Yeah, we're just gonna dive into a little behind the scenes on how it's, what it's like working in the studio with an engineer, and then a little bit about Austin and what's coming up for you and your music.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's start off with like kind of how you met Vic and started working. What was that like?
Damn.
Because picking your engineer type
Damn,
thing.
that's actually a crazy topic.
So I had a vocal coach at the time, and who knew I wanted to record, who knew Vic from Orb, kind of like years before. So I got set up with Vic through that. And then, I kind of got confident enough to where it was just going to be me and Vic rather than doing like a session with my vocal coach.
Yeah, because we used to do sessions, bro. So like it was crazy because the first time we recorded, we were doing like 8 to 10 takes per bar.
Yeah. Dude.
Oh dang!
Like it's just like on
Were y'all here at Orb or was it another studio?
It was a different studio.
Okay.
And it was like dude, it was like about 8 to 10 takes per section. And we would sit there after and then comp and then re-punch and like do a bunch of stuff.
It was so bad, dude. That's the thing is like, I was seeing it from like a perspective of like singing is almost like athletics. Like it's like the best take you can get. And it was kind of like about perfection and like preparing your voice and all this shit. And it really just gets in the way of recording. Like good recordings, it's just, it's all about vibe, dude. But it takes time because you have to have enough hours to where there's a level of confidence that you can kind of harness that from yourself, and then also know what to listen to. Because for me, if I'm not listening to the snare, I'm out of it. Like I'm not in pocket. Yeah. And then like the little tricks when you're with a good engineer that develop you and gets you better, like knowing how important like your headphone mix is, how important your like feeling comfortable is, and all these different things. But you kind of have to put in your hours for that to work,
What's something Vic does that you like that kind of made you feel like, man, okay,
Nothing, bro. This man hates me, bro.
Yeah, I do hate. I think he's very unserious in a way, which is helpful, and very direct too, so you can get better if you can stomach that.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Though,
but you have to in music. You have to stomach it.
That's the thing. It's like, I mean, I've been pretty forward with you a lot of the times, man. It's like, if that's not good enough, like, let's just redo it.
Yeah, you have to care about the integrity of the sound of something to get good at it. You can't go into it with like a sense of ego, like it's going to be good because it's you. It has to sound good. And sometimes that's easier than other times. And each little song or each phrase or everything is totally different. But like humility is huge to doing well. Like you have to be able to, number one, not lie to yourself, and number two, not want other people to lie to you. And I think a good engineer won't lie to you, and a bad one will lie to you to take your money. It's really that simple.
And that's interesting you say that, man, because like, or like I know that sometimes it's like it's also like the lack of experience of an engineer.
Yeah,
they just don't know what to listen for, because there's some like people who are just starting off that might not hear pitch so well, like, and that's just always a common thing. The more you do it, the more your ear gets refined, the more you start kind of just knowing what to listen for. And then eventually you get to the point where you know how to hear past pitch and listen for emotion.
Yeah,
right.
And that's something that like we've really worked on a lot with you, man, because it was like,
oh my God,
the infancy of your record. I mean, because we essentially started your record doing singles that will never see the light of day.
No, yeah, it was stuff I had produced, and then it was and I produced it because I had nobody. This is a thing in music that I would recommend for anybody, because for me, I've improved a lot over the course of shit. And if anybody who's done anything will show you their first shit, it sucks. It's just always the case. But you have to be willing to do something and fail at it, or not know where it's going to take you in any way whatsoever. Because if I didn't start producing my own music, like solely producing it, I wouldn't have been at a point in which it was just decent enough to write on and then get somebody to notice that I could write, or which is what Vic did. He thought I could sing and I could vaguely write.
I remember that because we spent a whole session.
Yeah.
Well, prior to this session, we would come in and like we would literally just sit there and find pitches to kick drums and snares and
dude,
vocals.
because I didn't hear any of that.
He couldn't hear that. Yeah, and then it's not that he didn't know. You could hear it, you just didn't know what was wrong.
Yeah.
You were like, this doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
But you didn't know what to listen for. And I was like, oh, it's actually your snares out of tune. You know, like your kick drums might be flat, whatever. And so he started kind of like paying attention to all those little things.
Mm-hmm. And you have to like, God, you have to be receptive. Like, because really, if you don't do something for yourself in this, no one's going to fucking help you. Like, but they respect if you're doing something and you care and you're devoted to it and you're trying to improve. So a lot of people, to try to look more professional, they'll dismiss something like right to your face. Like they'll give you, like you'll know something sounds off and they'll be like, no, this is how it's done. And you're like, I don't know, man. And then somebody who you trust more will be kind of honest with you. This is why it's not working, or, you know, whatever it may be. But if I wouldn't have like pushed to do my own stuff or learn, and I learned a lot of stuff technically that still kind of helps. Like there's multiple times where I've had an idea or something that could theoretically work at a point just because I had to do shit with the plugins that were like jailbroken that I got from some guy in LA that I could fucking try to use some busted ass Waves plugins. Yeah. But
why is it always Waves?
I like that I don't have to do that really anymore. I don't have to rely on that. I can be more creative. But if I think it's about evolving. Like if you take this shit serious, you want to work with somebody who's constantly evolving and getting better, because it's constantly changing and it's so disruptive. Like, so, you know, somebody could be an engineer for like 10, 15 years and then like produce something like shit because they're giving you like some stale sound because they haven't evolved. Like they're not willing to keep learning.
That's super interesting. Yeah, because even now in today's music nowadays, and you see it, bro, it's like what we're doing this year is not nowhere near what we were doing last year. You know, like even with fan filters, like new dynamic EQ,
right?
It's like everything is crazy. The spectral EQ, whatever it's called. And even there's tools like now having AI tools, like even like for example, you know, we just cut your live record.
Yeah.
So there's things there's things around that where we can do to minimize bleed, but you'll still always have some sort of bleed. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But there's like plugins that you can turn the drums down, but they'll still be there. You know?
Yeah, that's one thing I've really noticed with you is that you're always trying new things. Like, hey, let's try this plugin. Like, otherwise, you're right. You kind of get stuck in the past.
If you care about it too, it's not even just like evolving. It's just you get bored. Like,
if you're passionate about it,
it's like it gets old. Like, and you know, anything when you're evolving in it, you know, it's like a drug. You want something bigger, more exciting, or different, or something outside of. You know, I'd rather listen to like a record from an artist that I recognize and have it be a new sound that's different than something that's like the same shit. Because at least you're like, all right, they're evolving. Because if this one isn't good, the next one will be, because it'll be different.
And let me ask you this, right? Because now as an artist, you're at the stage where we just finished your studio record. We just recorded your live in the studio record.
Yep.
So
that's the second one.
It's the second one.
When I met you, dude, 2 years ago, I had nothing. I'm about to have two records.
Exactly, two records.
I'm super excited about
and also now pioneering, right? Like you're looking for that new sound.
Exactly.
How uncomfortable does it feel to do something that people are not doing, right? Because like for example, like you can like there's some artists that like to reference a lot of stuff that's out there and they're like, hey, I want to sound like this, I want to do this, I want to do that, or like my record doesn't sound like anything I've ever heard. You know, like how does it feel as an artist to be in a position to just have that creative freedom? Because I know you don't necessarily care about sounding like references.
No.
So that's why I'm asking, like, how does it feel for you to be able to be okay with, like, I'm okay if I've never heard this sound before?
I think there's like less pressure on me in a way, because I'm just kind of starting this in a serious capacity. So I don't feel like I have anything to lose in doing that. And more so, I would feel as if I actually worry about the opposite. I worry about shit sounding too much like other people. I don't want it to sound like other people. Because ultimately, you know, and I was talking to you this way about album covers too. I'll go back to my favorite shit, and to understand it in time, you have to really consider what else is going on. Yeah. And all of our favorite shit, they pioneered it. You know, it's like, whoa,
exactly.
what were they doing?
Exactly.
Yeah,
You know,
that sound.
like when
Yeah.
you, bro, like sorry, my bad.
No,
but like when you were in New York, you were in a different state of mind.
For
Whereas like,
sure.
dude, like hip hop has evolved so much in
Oh
10
yeah.
years.
Since then, oh yeah.
Oh,
There's
it's
no
just
way
crazy.
we do the same things
it's
No, you
now.
can't do the same stuff, man. Like the same tools are different, you know, like
yeah, I mean, like even like in hip hop now, dude, I've seen, because I work with, in my other job, therapy, I work with kids, like high school kids, and the shit they're listening to and rap, and it's not like, it's not a bad thing. I'm just trying to describe it. It's like so out of time,
dude. No, and that's
the hits are
intentional.
hitting
That's crazy.
exactly, because that's
yeah.
a sound.
Yeah.
And so like somebody had balls to be the first to do that and
Exactly.
go, you know what, fuck this is good.
Yeah.
Right. And the thing about it is, like, you know, if you believe in what you're doing, people will criticize you, certainly, but that'll only make the people who fuck with you ride with you way harder.
Yeah, because like now
harder.
like there's like a whole genre of sound that they're purposefully like ahead of the beat, or like they're just like listening to just. I've seen it.
It's
and
almost
cool.
like live music,
like
rap. Like it's like
like the way I picture it in my head, it's almost like somebody's like, because okay, like if you show that to a musician, they're gonna be like, this is wrong.
The fuck? Yeah.
Because it's like, it's technically wrong, but it's not wrong if you really sit back and consume it, and you're like, what was going through their mind when they were recording this? They're like, oh, it's just a vibe. And if you listen for that, if you listen for that,
well,
I think you can. I think you can get it.
Lil Yachty was talking about that. Like, so, you know, for me, the most impactful music, like the shit I actually really ended up fucking with, probably for the first 3 times, I hate it. Like when I listen to it, because it's so different. Like my first response is like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But like Lil Yachty, like he was talking about with, I think it's like Minnesota or Poland, where he's like, cold like Minnesota, da 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 da, and then he has like the Poland, like it seems like meme music, and so like apparently like his friends were like, dude, you cannot put that shit out, and people fucked with it, because ultimately, dude, the way I've thought about it is like, think of this generation too.
Yeah.
So you've been exposed to incredibly perfect music for a really long time. Not only that, but you have instant gratification at your fingertips and like scrolling and stuff. Nothing is more engaging than something being off, because each thing kind of grabs you each time.
I've never thought about that.
Like each rhythmic pocket is like, whoa, what the fuck's happening?
Interesting.
So I think that's partially why they like that. Like JPEG Mafia is huge, dude, to these kids. And when I listen to that music, it's not that I'm like judge it or not, but I grew up with something different. So to me, it sounds a bit too chaotic for me to follow. And as a songwriter, I like to follow like melody, and I like more lullaby-ish type predictable shit. But kids just love that. And
it's almost like for example, like, you know, we grew up with music that was more tuned, that was more produced, but the generation before that didn't. So now it's like,
they hated
like
that
coming
shit.
back.
They hated that shit. That's why they still hate autotune, right? I fucking love autotune.
Yeah.
I'm tired. It's responsible.
Same dude. Yeah.
but yeah, like autotune is like crazy to them. But then, like you said, like now we're so used to hearing things in pitch. We're so used to things hitting on the pocket. We're so used to being on the click. That now the new generation, what stimulates them is
the opposite.
Like, which is crazy. I never thought about that.
We had I remember we had a conversation, like even sonically, right?
Yeah.
Because you know we tend to just listen to the top hits and see what's out there, just to refresh our ears sonically, like what's out there, what's popular. And I forget the artist, but the track was just, to our ears, because of how we grew up listening to records, was just completely distorted. Like, I wouldn't necessarily be like, let's ship this. But then you go on Spotify, it's got like 30 million streams.
That's what we were talking about.
It's like, and then you kind of told me like, dude, this is just how the new generations are listening to music, because it comes back to the thing where it's like, everything's too good.
Exactly.
Let's kind of switch it up.
Or it's like, something I've enjoyed too, and I think it's a good thing, like, because people all like hate on TikTok and that blowing shit up. I think there's a period of time where TikTok blew up like almost really simple, like almost cartoonish type songs that like were catchy and very repetitive. And then it feels like there's a point where, in my opinion, since kids are starting to ascribe audio to like a story, like a TikTok. Like they know this underlying thing of how this makes them feel, or like the story of it. Now I'm seeing like a huge rise in storytelling music again being
Yeah.
big. And
Yeah.
I also think it's from TikTok.
And I also think it's because of emotion.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
a lot of TikToks nowadays tend to tug at like feelings. The
Yeah,
ones that do well. You know,
exactly.
now I don't know much about the psychology of that, but like I just know that every time I'm scrolling and something is like a sad shit, I'm like engaged and I'm like, oh fuck, I want to cry, you know, like, but or whatever. Like,
Yeah,
but
you're right though.
that's how
Yeah.
you. Those are the reels that, or like not reels, right?
Short form.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that immediately gets you. So I can see why that's transitioning to music. You know, like let me ask you this, Austin. So like you being a mental health therapist, right?
Yeah.
Is that the official title?
Yes.
Okay. Right? How do you balance
You're being
being
way too nice on this, man. This isn't him. This isn't him. It was
so how do you balance your day job
with this.
with this being a musician, right? Because you're an artist.
Yeah.
What I mean? Are you a therapist first? You're an artist first. Like what's your mindset? Like how do you balance day to day?
I've kind of thought about it. Like this is something I've thought about more. Um, I think that who I am is an extension of both of these things. Like I was always creative and thoughtful and sensitive, and really the meaning of something always piqued my interest of like, what's the meaning of an event that's happens to somebody? You could have the same event happen to two people and they'll take something totally different away from it. And so I think I'm probably equal parts both. I mean, generally, like I've had things inspire me from my work. It keeps me kind of emotionally connected to other people. Um, by the same token, I've also kind of tried to hide parts of being musical from my work. And I just hit a point where I just didn't want to do that anymore. And it's funny because I found the more I don't do that, the more of a client I attract that's similar to me that I can really help in a way. Like I have a ton of musician clients now, and I used to not. And I think the
That's
more
cool.
I
That's
kind of
actually really
dress
cool.
how I
Yeah.
want, or the more I act how I want, I actually kind of probably relate to those kids in a different way. And actually, my job's also kind of kept me young in some sense too. Like it's actually helped creatively because I work with teenagers and like college kids. So I have a good idea of something they would find cool in a sense, which
Yeah.
helps.
Yeah, especially since you understand the mind of a young adult.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
like yeah,
Exactly.
you see the world differently, which is why I'm asking, right?
Yeah.
Because you know I always ask you questions during sessions about
Yeah,
this
yeah.
because it's super interesting to me. You know, like I've never had a client that studies the mind. You know, so it's like it's different.
But I'm
And
feeble-minded, as you
yeah,
said.
exactly right. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
so
yeah.
so let me give the context. This motherfucker called me feeble-minded because I get anxious about music. But I was telling him because he was basically saying like, if you're a therapist, then you shouldn't be feeble-minded
My
theoretically.
exact words were,
You said
yes, I
feeble-minded.
did, yes, I did. But my
Yeah.
exact words were like, I'm surprised that you being a mental health therapist
Are so
are so feeble.
feeble-minded. But it's really, I was telling him, it's like you were telling me that artists are almost always kind of neurotic, right? Like it's just a part of it. And therapists is somewhat similar if they're good. Like at some point you just like you kind of get wiser with age in that work, but you start off fucked up. I mean, that's why you relate to people. That's why you have patience with them in a way that other people wouldn't, because you've been there, you felt maybe something similar, you've acted just as erratically or felt just as scared or whatever. And I think I can't like one thing that really changed the way I viewed anything is and the way I view my day job now, as we were talking about before, is like um I Rick Rubin had a book. It was like it was almost like it was about creativity. And it basically he talks about kind of everything being an opportunity to be creative. Cooking's creative, so many things are creative. And as an artist, you'll get burned out if your only source of creativity is music. So you have to have other places to tap into the well so you don't get burned out, but you are constantly flowing it. And so you'll tell me like relax, have a life experience, whatever it is, which you have to do. And at the same time, you can be creative in other ways as you're doing that. So I kind of view therapy as a way of being creative, right? It's a way of seeing the world and altering. I'm constantly developing. I'm constantly challenging ideas that I've had before and trying to be open to something and tap into somebody's experience. And ultimately that really helps in music, because if I'm not being creative in writing this, like they'll say like, dude, just write poetry, like
Yeah, that makes
write a
sense. Yeah,
story,
yeah.
cook.
Exercise the muscle.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
And so the better you get at these other things to where they're more instinctive, the more you focus on what makes them have some sense of like space, or what makes them active, which is like having this well to tap into, and how quickly can you get there. Just like a live performance when we were like just cutting that shit is like, how quick can you get to that emotional space? And the ones who are experts can get there like that. And
Yeah,
I'm
you
still
know how to
working
tap
on
in.
that.
Yeah. And it's interesting because, yeah, you're right. Like, even us as engineers, you know, if I was recording every fucking day, I would be miserable. I love recording, don't get me wrong, but like, I also love mixing. And so,
Yeah,
like,
there's
as
different aspects to even our job, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So, and even as a mixer, you do things differently than when you record.
I mean, every single person in music is getting paid for taste.
Yeah.
Everybody. In different ways. Managers are getting paid for taste because they have a good taste in clients. They know
Yeah,
who's
that's true.
good,
Yeah.
right? Like you're getting paid for taste because you have good mixing choices. And singers are getting paid for taste because a million people can sing, but who can sing the right notes? Who can sing with emotion?
Who can make somebody feel
Who
something,
can have
man?
taste? Yeah, songwriters' taste. It's like the thing that like I've seen with engineering too, because I was trying to learn how to do that shit before I met you, because I was like, how am I going to afford this? How should I do this? And I wanted to be so prolific and put so much shit out. But you just get inundated with technical knowledge, and it's important as a baseline idea, I guess. But it takes away the taste making and the creativity of like what mixing would be or what recording is, because it's so much more of a client centric job than it is a technically centric job. Like, who cares what the fuck you know if it could sound stale? It could sound good but stale. Like, and we had that with I Want You. Remember when your mix was technically better?
Oh, yeah,
And
that's
the
right.
engineers said it was better.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know, the other one just feels something. And
Yeah,
then
we ended
the
up going with
artists were like,
vibe.
yeah, that feels that way. And you always defer to vibe,
Yeah,
always.
yeah, and it's interesting, man, because we went through like 7 mixes of that song, I believe.
Yeah.
And then it was mix 4, where I remember mixing it and sending it to you, and we're like, "Yo, that's good, whatever." And then I listened to it like a week later, and I was like, "I'm just gonna dive in and try to correct some shit, fix some shit, you know."
Yeah.
And then you had already approved mix 4.
Yeah.
And then I was just kind of just fucking with it, you know. I was like, I'm just gonna see what can I do better. I sent you mix 5, 6, and 7, and they just never got better.
It just lost soul.
Yeah, even though they were technically like prettier or technically
And to
like
some extent,
sounded.
I think we know why. Because now that we cut the live record, I Want You is probably my favorite live version of any song. In fact, I prefer it to the studio version. But the reason why I think we picked 4 is, remember, it was kind of like phasing a little bit.
Yeah,
It wasn't very present. It wasn't very, and that's how live shit sounds to some extent.
Yeah, and honestly, going back to like the modern, you know, like the modern like ear, right?
Yeah.
People will like that. People will like the fact that it's
Right.
not perfect, you know, and it's not crispy, and it's not, you know, the vocals a little tucked in, and you know, things that I would probably, you know, there's a reason why I got to that mix in the first place, and whatever headspace I was in worked at that time. And then once I tried to perfect it, it was like, oh, I'm just making this.
It's
sound
just so
worse.
much easier to go by feeling. It's always like there's that's why I don't really everything new that I hear my own vocals or I hear a song, I'm always like, I freak out when I hear it afterwards, as you know. And the present, I'm like, that was fucking great. You know, when we were cutting the thing, like I knew each take most of the time that like that's a take done, because it made me feel something when I was performing. And then when I would listen to something in retrospect, I would get anxious that it's not good enough, and you know, whatever.
Your mind starts spiraling.
Right. So like being guided by feeling in these things is so fucking important. And that's the best way to relate to a consumer, is like, what is it making you feel? And I've even said, my therapist has even talked to me about how to get feedback from people. And I've had people say wild shit to me. I've had people like, I've had people like criticize, like, you know, I can tell it isn't done, or, you know, say these annoying ass things. And it's like, it's hard because if you want to like get feedback, it's really hard to know what to ask for. And his recommendation was like, just ask them how it makes them feel. And
Yeah,
that's it.
You know, I'm gonna take that, man. I'm gonna take that. I'm just gonna ask
Because,
people that.
and it's a great, so my therapist, he's a musician, right? So he's super helpful with this shit. He's the one who told me to base my movements on stage off of lyrics, what's lyrically
Yeah, which
happening.
is
And I was like,
crazy.
that's brilliant, because that's how I wrote it. I'm very lyrical. And so like, yeah, of all the times I
There was a
hit.
head tilt. There was a head tilt when we were rehearsing. He was like,
Yeah, exactly. And so that shit he said was so smart of like, how does it make you feel? Because I don't care about anything else. Like, what's your favorite part? People can't answer that shit, but you get how it make you feel. And if it's the right feeling, you're like,
like you
good.
could think back on those takes and be like, damn, I remember feeling good singing this.
Yeah, exactly. But if it's bad enough, it doesn't make you feel shit. So that's how you'll know. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
that's great because like unfortunately when you just give someone a song to listen to and you don't say that, they almost have
they want to have a note.
Yes.
Yes,
Even though
it's
they
annoying.
don't even know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
It's like
Oh my God.
even though it's coming from a good place, it's just like, well, that's
Yeah, people don't.
yeah.
So I've thought about why people do this.
Yeah.
And I think it's partially because it's their way of feeling involved. Like it's their way of feeling like a part of what you're doing in
Where
some
people
sort
do
of
what?
like why they give notes.
Oh,
like
I see. Yeah,
unsolicited.
yeah, yeah. Or like turn the vocal up. And do this. Oh,
Yeah, and
it's
it's never shit that's relevant. And there's very few people, like my girlfriend's actually one of the only people I trust for notes, because she doesn't listen for anything like lyrics, nothing. She doesn't listen to that shit. She listens to how she would dance in it to Ariel.
And she listens from a fucking consumer base.
She does. She is very consumer.
That's why I
based,
really
yeah.
value the same thing, man. I value my wife's perspective because I play something. She's not like invested in it, but she's listening in a different way that I'm like, I almost can't disassociate or disconnect. I can't disconnect myself from the mix or from the song.
Yeah, that's hard for us, right?
Yeah, because it's like
we're critically listening to things,
you're
right?
seeing sometimes. I mean, dude, like your album, we saw it from voice notes, bro. Like we had a whole session.
We had 2 sessions.
Yeah, 2 sessions where we went through like 200 voice notes.
Whoa.
Yeah, you didn't know this, right?
So the album is called 20s.
Yeah.
Because the earliest song on the album is Love You Again. I wrote that in 2019. I was 24. Yeah. And then the last song I wrote was Think of Me.
Yeah, it was Think of Me. Yeah.
It was Think of Me. And I wrote that last year.
Yeah.
That was in like May.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, it was a while back.
May. Yeah, it was like May 2024. Yeah. And so from 23 to 28, these are the songs.
I mean, because it was like we went through voice memos and we were just I was literally sitting here,
yeah,
and he was just playing voice memos. That's not it. Skip.
Some of these ones shocked me that were on there. Like,
the depths. You didn't want the depths on there.
Depths. Did I not?
Yeah, you didn't want the depths.
I always thought it was a cool song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Each context of each song, it's fun how the sound of the album I made, it's like I was making the other shit. I was making the kind of more pop program type shit. So I wrote these out of love. I did not ever think I would really release them. Or if I did, it would be like years into doing this and being like, oh yeah, I should get on that. Like, and that's kind of what it sounds like. And again, that's what we were talking about with the feeling thing. Yeah. Like these were purely to get them out of me. And a few of them, like during COVID, like in tough times in my life or like post breakups or incredibly difficult times, and you can hear it in the songs.
And I think that's why, because when we were playing the stuff, man, I remember we were doing a session with your program stuff, and you're like, yo, what do you think of these voice notes? And you played me a couple, and I was like, dude, like, what the fuck are you doing programming this shit? Like,
you literally told me like songs. This is an entire album. Yeah, you literally, we talked and you were like, this is what you should be doing. Yeah. And I believed you. Yeah. And that's also the importance of like the trust in that dynamic.
Yeah. You took a risk.
If you and I hadn't been working together for a little bit, I wouldn't do that. But when you said that, something just clicked. And a lot of times when you're an artist too, it's like when you're working with somebody, one of the first people you're vulnerable with is the engineer.
Right.
Oh yeah, they're hearing you without tuning,
And so
or
if
they're hearing you
they,
with tuning. Like,
Seriously.
yeah, so
Well, even just being creative, because like you got to be comfortable with the engineer to really kind of let's try this, or
yeah, and dude, it was scary for me at first too. But we had built up enough trust there, and then it was just you and me for a bit. So when he said something, I believed him. And so there's a certain level of like trust and respect there. And then it's also nice because it helps me focus where I need to creatively focus. Like even today, like you and I have worked well enough to where I haven't really heard my live vocals like, melodined or whatever. And so I could tell that I wasn't going to hear it right. And so I just went and played pool for like an hour, but I can trust Vic's taste to go, this is good enough, this is good enough, this is good enough, or whatever. There's a lot of trust, and I don't know, man. Like, I get a lot of people working with different people, and I'm going to have to do that probably at some point. You and I have talked about that. But I think the first one is super important. Like if you're recording, like if you're not recording with somebody really good at first, it's not going to work.
And this is something I push on my clients. It's like, man, like go and work with different engineers. And the reason why is because you get to pick and choose. Like what I'm doing all the time it doesn't necessarily mean it's right.
right,
You know,
right,
or
and it's like a taste thing
a
too.
taste
Like
thing.
another engineer might be a better fit.
Yeah, and and so I'm like, yo, go work with this other person. They might do something you love, or they might actually do something you hate.
Yeah.
And then and it pushes the artist because now like there's one thing that like for me I personally don't like is getting comfortable with shit. Because it's like once you're comfortable, you feel like you're just on routine. Right. And I personally kind of don't like that, which is why I'm always trying new plugins. I'm always trying new drum setups, whatever. Right. But like a lot of it is like, yeah, like if I'm working with a client all the time and they're not willing to expand or trying to expand, it's tough on me because I can only do so much with if they're not bringing in new ideas.
Right, because you're always expanding, so it's like you might not be able to even offer that same.
Yeah, exactly. Like, dude, like
sonics,
the stuff
right?
and the effects and stuff that we did for your record.
Yeah,
that taught me a lot because I was like, okay, he's hearing this. I'm not hearing it this way. Okay, he's hearing this. Okay,
like which ones in particular?
I mean, just like the fact that you like a drier vocal, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's certain artists that really prefer a drier vocal.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of artists who like a lot of wet vocals. So it's like, you start hearing things where it's like you have a very pop-minded vocal mindset, where you love compression, you love that vocal being there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some people don't like tracking with compression at all.
That's crazy.
But like that pushes you out of your element as an engineer because you're like, Austin loves compression. Okay, perfect. This other artist does not like compression. Okay, perfect. This other artist likes reverb. They hate Valhalla. What kind of reverb do they like? Like stuff like that. Because in your record, we ended up using a lot of short room reverbs. Unless it's, I think, the Grave, which has a lot of vocal and is very drowned.
The Grave's dope, yeah.
So it's different,
yeah.
As an engineer, you're always having to like look for things. So like working with different artists, it teaches you like, okay, I really enjoyed using this effect with this artist.
Well, it's helpful, like, because for context, Vic's really, really good at this. Like, and I'm, I hate you deeply. So it pains me to say this, but it's helpful because you'd be my measuring stick to if something doesn't sound right. Yeah. Whereas I know what I can do now. Fuck. I hit the mic. I know what I can do now. See, I was so demonstrative in the live video. I'm used to like hitting my chest and so I can tell when something's not right. And most of the time when I'm not singing well, my first thought now is like, I'm not hearing myself. Yeah. Like I'm not loud enough, or I need click, or the snare needs to be louder, or whatever the fuck. I can solve a problem more quickly versus, if you don't have trust in somebody or you don't have the sense of self-confidence, you just kind of blame yourself and give up, or, you won't really trust them to like fix the problem or know what to do. And it's so nice to not have to worry about the technical elements and other shit, where I can just kind of trust you with it and go, all right, I'm just going to go get in my zone, or I'm just going to give him this. I don't want to think about this because I'm already making so many choices as an independent artist already, dude. Like, and you can only make so many decisions before you get fatigued.
Yeah. That's my bad.
No, I was going to bring up like the whole trusting people, right? Because you've kind of made that leap from, doing it all yourself to like, okay, I need to start trusting people. And
Yeah.
when we did the live session, that was huge for you because, obviously you had Vic with the trust, but it wasn't necessarily you were playing with these cats,
No.
right?
No.
If actually Vic didn't tell me this was like the first time y'all played together,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have believed it. I would have been like,
Well,
no,
that's
they've,
the importance of like,
Like, this is his band, you know?
Yeah.
exactly. But like, yeah,
that's
kind of.
it, dude. It's so much like, I wish more people had told me. Well, I guess they did, but I didn't understand it. Like, just how being an independent artist is so, it's like also a level of production and management too, because like you have to know what people will get the best out of you and which people to trust and discern, and like that's fucking hard. There's people like I found, for example, when people are too nice to me, I don't trust them to some degree, because
Yeah.
in music, the
Actually,
people who have
yes.
all screwed me over act like buddy with me, and the people who I respect and I fuck with, it develops like any sort of friendship does, which is like first you're kind of getting to know them, what's going on, and then at a point you're like you get tight with them like a normal person. So like all those people who played on it, like I'd heard them play enough. We brought them in. I kind of trusted your point or Chris's point of view, but ultimately, I trusted that those guys would bring the best out of me. So I was willing to pay that as my first experience, not only for them to be good, but also so I had an understanding that number one, I can do this. Number two, so if I can do this and something's not working, it doesn't mean I suck. That means it could be something and their playing doesn't work with me. It could be something on their end,
And it's also, interesting because you as a musician, as an artist, think of how many people are in those shoes, right? You're working with musicians who are doing it professionally all the time, touring.
Yeah,
So like you're measuring yourself being like, hey, like, can I keep up with these musicians?
exactly.
And also seeing the musicians not know the songs and stumbling while during rehearsal, like you're like, oh, they're not superhuman, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, again, I'm just that way, and I think you have to be that way. I think the way you learn, I don't know if Pharrell said this, but it was somebody I respect, but basically, you kind of want to be the least experienced in every room you're in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You,
That's,
you
I've heard that before. I don't know
really
who said
want to
that. I
be
heard that. Yeah.
inexperienced in the room because you're going to fucking learn shit quickly.
You're gonna learn a lot of
And they're
shit.
going to respect you because it takes balls to do that. It takes a lot of courage to stay in a situation in which you're insecure or you're trying to get better. That's what I was telling Vic when he was saying I was, what was it again, feeble-minded. As I was telling him, no, I don't disagree that like I feel things very deeply and I've experienced a lot of fear in my life. But I don't believe people are defined by their feelings at all. I believe it's about how you respond to those things. And arguably, the more fear you feel, the more opportunity there is for a sense of courage, like to face that shit. And you know how scared I was to do this live shit.
Yeah.
I called
You
you.
looking at fucking midnight
called
having a
you-
damn fucking panic
Yeah,
attack, bro.
I was having a panic attack like 3 or 4 days before. I was freaking out. And then it goes and you go, okay, here's what I have to learn. It went really well, but here's what I can work on. And then you start getting better and better. And I would have never dreamed I would have improved at the rate I did.
And once again, man, that goes back to like the relationship with the engineer. Like him having the confidence and trust to
That
call
was
me,
huge,
to
right?
call me
Yeah.
at that time and be like, yo, dude, I just whatever. I don't know if I can do this. I'm scared. I'm like, dude,
Well, like you
yo,
said, that's like half
chill.
the job, bro.
Yeah,
It's
like
like
it
calming
is.
people down.
Yeah, no, I mean, you
Yeah.
got here this morning, all freaking out. And I
I
was
was
like,
freaking
bro,
out this morning
I
too,
haven't
yeah.
even clocked in.
I'm
Well, I
always
haven't even clocked
freaking
in,
out,
but like,
man.
I was like, I'm already putting out fires.
But I
I
was telling you, I believe that though. On some
Yeah.
level, and maybe it's because I'm fucking, in my own head all the time, and I like project onto people. But on some level, I do believe like, if you're getting somebody who's really can channel an aspect of their feelings, there's
Yeah.
gonna be this shit too, like almost every time.
But that's
Like,
that's the thing too. Like that's
Yeah.
also like why you've grown so fast.
Mhm.
From like, I mean, dude, like we started this record like I think January of last year,
Yeah, we did.
right? So like a year and a half, and your growth has been crazy. Like if you would have told me that he had never made a record before this, you wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? Because it like whenever it's kind of like when you're in the thick of it, you don't feel it.
Right.
You don't. What do you call it? Like you don't necessarily know you're in it.
Yeah.
But then from an outsider's point of view, they see it and they're like, oh, this person's doing this person's doing that. Like,
Yeah, it's like every time you see a grandma, they're like, holy shit, you've grown so much. You're like, I'm like the same.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, you've shrunk, bitch.
Yeah, no, but that's what's cool about all that stuff, man. Like seeing your growth, seeing from like going from like recording and doing all this stuff, you know, you as an artist just developing and kind of just growing, and now your network, you've known a lot of musicians.
Yeah, dude, that's the best part. Like, I don't know, dude. I was talking to somebody about this the other day, but like my understanding of how music works has changed so much. I view it more like almost like a high school now,
Yeah,
and it really is a popularity contest. It really
kind of
is
is. Yeah.
repeated exposure, and you have to think if someone's going to like invest in you, and there's not a lot of money to be made in music in general, like at least on my level, or
Yeah.
like when you get to be an executive or whatever, there's a lot. So if someone's like spending time with you, um, if they are career centric, they're spending time with you because they believe in you and they think you can help them and vice versa. Or if you're spending your money, you're not going to have that much money, and music costs a lot of money. So,
Good music costs a lot of money.
yeah, that's true. So I didn't realize like how basically the longer you're in this, the more of a chance you have to win if you can play sustainably. Because
Yes.
the more people take you seriously, they're like, this fucker's done this for 3-4 years. Like, if I'm gonna invest money in them, I trust them. They're gonna
Yeah.
follow through. Or, even doing this live stuff and then playing live, having good records, being consistent, posting content. There's just enough stuff there that people go, fuck, I trust this person.
And this person's serious.
This person's gonna, yeah, they're serious.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with music in the community. The more and more you're interacting, the more and more you see their face, the more legitimate they are, and you get this social proof. So it's like this popularity contest. And I say, oh, I know that guy. I know that guy. I know that guy. How is
Yeah,
he?
it's
Okay,
like, oh, I've
he's
seen him
good
in
at
that room.
he was
I've
good
seen him
live
in-
in
yeah.
this. Oh, you stopped and he was good this. Oh, I heard him about it from Brad and da 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 da. And he's been doing this shit for 2-3. Yeah, this is a guy. And I didn't realize that. Like before I got into it, it was like I would be nervous meeting people who are like signed or whatever, or there'd be I had this idea that like, God, I get discovered and they hear this how good I sing and it's an instant thing. It's a fucking business.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
It's a
that's
business.
Yeah.
And that's okay. It's like, but if you're gonna invest in someone's bit, you're not gonna go, I had the idea for this most revolutionary peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And it's like, yeah, that's a fucking genius idea. No, you're going to go with the guy who's hired teams and developed his apps and done it over 2-3 years and learned how to code himself and then got customers on his own. And then you're going to go, fuck that guy. I want to be a part of that.
Yeah. And then you make people want to be part of your team.
That's the FOMO effect
Yeah,
too.
yeah, the FOMO
It's like
stuff,
the more
yeah.
you're around, the more people fuck with you, the more you're doing something. There's almost a mystery to it too until they meet you once and they're like, I want to be around that person. There's like a charisma. That's what I was talking to Alejandro about. It's like being an artist. It's like an all the time thing. Like it's really trying to be vulnerable and be yourself and really be confident in your identity enough to present yourself in a way that other people may be afraid to present them.
Yeah. And you have to move with a certain confidence,
Right.
but you can't
You
let
can't
your
be a
ego.
dick.
Yeah, you can't let your ego fuck you up.
That's the hard part.
Yeah, because I mean, think about it. As an artist, you start building.
Same thing with the engineering shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For sure,
like,
bro. Like
yeah,
for sure. Like
yeah.
like it can go anywhere, right? Because like the bigger you get, the easier it is for you to get things.
Yeah.
So it just becomes a thing of like, oh, I could do this shit without doing that. You know,
Yeah,
like it's
exactly.
like, but I hate that. Like because it's like you're what got you there wasn't this.
Well, and it's
What
also
got
like
there was
you
the other
can't
stuff. Yeah.
you can't sustainably not be a team player. Like you really can't because one thing I've enjoyed about playing with the band and shit and working with you is there's like almost a team effect, right? And everything about music, especially the bigger you get, the bigger the team is. Like there's a team centric
And you have
focus.
people fighting for you in every
Right.
corner.
So if you're
man.
shitty to work with, you're fucked. It's really hard to get off. Like you're gonna, and the reality is it'll always get you. Like it'll get you on the way down.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you'll
dude.
go up and you'll get away with that shit. And then all of a sudden your sound's irrelevant. You're on the fucking way out. And when you're on the way down, no one wants to deal with your shit.
Yeah.
Even if you're the very top and you're just starting to slide down, people go, I don't want to fuck with you anymore. I don't want to deal with your bullshit.
Exactly.
So like trying to retain who you are. That's why I'm kind of lucky I'm getting into this in a relationship because I feel way more anchored and like Jackie doesn't give a fuck about my music, bro. like she knows, like she feels like it's good, like and I ask her questions and she asks me questions about her art and shit, but like I think just being a good person, being kind, and treating people with respect goes really, really far.
Especially in this industry, dude. Like you know, as an engineer, you know, like I enjoy working with you because we take breaks.
Yeah.
We get lunch breaks. We'll step out.
Right.
That's not common for engineers. You know, engineers,
Right.
you're
You're just
working.
worked
You just work
till you can't.
10, 12-hour sessions without
Yeah.
breaks. You know, with a fucking 5-minute lunch. Like what the fuck?
I can't
like,
work that way.
There's no this, but also, what other job in the industry tolerates that?
No,
You know, like
engineers get treated like
and
shit.
yeah, like we
Yeah.
get the short end of a lot of stuff, you know, and so it's hard whenever you're up and coming as an engineer and working with artists who are trying to maximize their dollar.
I think one thing.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's-
It
hard.
is extremely hard. Like that's the thing too is I misunderstood that first too. Remember, I was like, we only have this many, and I need to book this many hours,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I really wanted to maximize my money.
Yeah,
But the thing about it is, life. The older you get, the more you realize like sometimes less is more, sometimes more is
Yeah,
less.
yeah.
Like music's not something you can really push through creatively. You can't creatively push.
No, you
You can
can't.
push yourself technically and stay up late and do shit. But like you can't, like if an idea's not coming, you cannot push your way into it coming. Or if the vocal's not coming, you're not going to push your way. In fact, most of the time it's taking pressure off or it's taking a step back.
yeah. It's
or
like
whatever.
oh, I'm not writing right now. Maybe I need to disconnect and go live some life and have something to write about. You know,
And
like
that's happened to me.
Yeah.
Your recommendation, I went back and I've been writing all the fucking time. It's like I can't stop writing.
Yeah.
But it's also like little things like the vibes. Like the vibes
Yeah.
in the studio are huge. Like that, it genuinely makes you sing better, dude.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's actually insane. So, I mean, I could have 12 hours with you in like a bright light room,
Yeah.
and I would not get nearly the shit done of 2 hours
yeah.
in
You wouldn't feel
this.
comfortable.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you say that because you know, like we've worked in studios that don't have vibe. We've worked in studios that don't have vibe, and then we worked in studios that have crazy vibe.
And it's a difference.
And
the gear could suck. It doesn't matter.
Immediately, man. Like as soon as you walk in, you're like, I will feel inspired, and I want to do shit here. You know, and that's what you want most of the time. You know, like well, sometimes you do want the clinical shit. You know, but like most of the time you don't. You're in a creative field where art matters, and you know
It all kind of has to cohesively work together because
yeah.
you can even be in $1 million studio with all the gear and stuff, but if the vibes aren't there,
It's
you're
not there,
leaving
man.
with
You
you
can't
really
replace it.
nothing.
Yeah.
People would listen to it and be like, "Where did you cut this at home?" Like,
Exactly. Or even playback systems, man. Do I hear myself back well when I'm being played back?
Yeah,
You
we
know,
were
like,
talking about that.
It's crazy. You know, like because it's like we love low end. You love low end too. So like, so oh, go for it.
I recorded vocals. I drink a lot
I go for it, man. Well, he takes his fucking minute piss. Yeah, we were in studios where it's like, you know, like we just go and come in and out and we're just like the playback system just doesn't rattle your bones and it doesn't feel immersive. You know, that's huge. That's all. You know, and you put me on the Augs, you know, like before
in the New York rooms,
prior to meeting you, I was like, oh, fucking Ocean Waves and all this shit.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, the Ocean Waves are great, but
Yeah.
like they're just not the same thing, you know. And it's like,
no.
and that's cool, but Augs are also super expensive, and they're just not.
But it gives you that feeling, right? It's just like hitting you in the chest. It's immersive. Like when we were at Sonic Ranch, for example.
Yeah.
But
yeah, exactly. Just turning it up and just feeling the whole
feeling
vibe.
it, And artists like that, they don't know that they like it until they hear it.
Exactly. And then once they hear it, they go to any other studio and they hear a playback system and they're like, this isn't the same.
Yeah, something's missing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Something's missing.
So,
They might not know. They will know or whatever, but they'll just want to turn it up and vibe out, you know?
Yeah. I just vibed out in the bathroom.
All right, that's fucking 15-second piss, bro.
You know me.
But yeah, man, I mean, dude, like what's been like, you know, for you as an artist, like what's been like one of your highest moments and one of your lowest moments?
Dude, I have so many low moments.
Or what's been your lowest moment?
I know, actually. So I'd come out to Austin and I was doing my own music at the time, producing my own shit, and I recorded these vocals in a closet. And I got them like pitched after, like, you know, pitch corrected after, and I was like, oh, what the fuck? It was like super pitch corrected. So I got them like edited. I panicked and I called the guy, and I was afraid I looked like an idiot. He was this guy who worked out in LA, and then he gave me the vocals, and I was like, that's not what I like, but I didn't tell him, and I paid it anyway. And then I hired this other guy to mix, and I went to his house, and the vibes were weird. He was mixing from his house, and I was in the session, and I just didn't like it. And then I like felt like I didn't have it, which is one of my fears. Like, oh, I don't have it. Like, whatever it is, I don't have it. And I listened back, and the vocals weren't good enough. And it stood out to me, and it like connected to me that like, oh fuck, I need to learn how to sing, and this music isn't good enough, and I don't like this mix. And then I started getting vocal lessons after that. And then it's funny because my ability to see where I have talent has come at crushing defeats of where I don't have talent every time. Like it's not that I like am a bad singer, it's just that I needed vocal lessons. So it was this big, oh, I need vocal lessons. And then like when I went in the studio with you and my show was produced, I was like, fuck, I should not produce. And then like I get more and more refined to where I'm finding out like, oh shit, this is what I'm really good at. And so I stopped doing that other shit and put all my fucking marbles in this thing. And then
like, that's when shit just started popping up.
Yeah, because most of the time, you know, I don't think like, I think when you're trying to do it all, which a lot of people have to do, it can actually distract from what like you would have the ability to make it doing in a sense. Like I have confidence in my voice, I have confidence in songwriting. But if I were like, oh no, I'm only gonna produce it, I want to produce my shit. Yeah. I wouldn't be in this position.
I mean, think about the records back in the day, you know, like Quincy Jones, Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
And then I forgot the engineer's name. Bruce Sweeter?
Oh my God.
Who was the engineer?
Yeah,
What's Bruce,
it's Bruce something.
Yeah, Bruce, right? So you got Quincy, you got Bruce, and you got Jackson. That's a trio, man. Bruce is thinking about,
and they're all geniuses. They're all geniuses.
Yeah, you know, he's thinking about like, well, how can I make this better? How can I record this? How can I do this?
Yeah, the sonics.
Quincy's thinking, oh, well, this isn't the right structure. This isn't the right, you know, like vocal delivery. This isn't that, you know. And then Jackson's the talent, and you know.
It really, in the end of the day, it really comes down to, as an artist, I need to build the right team around me.
Yeah.
Every time.
And
every time.
You know, from what you've gone through, you've really like experienced it all. Like worked with people that really made you feel low, to finding the right people, and you're like, actually, I just wasn't working with the right person.
That's true.
And it makes me sad to think about. It's funny because you think I feel relieved on some level. Like I feel excited. Like my highs were when we finished certain songs on the record, like Think of Me, and I was like, I remember telling you, like, I never thought I would make something this good. And it's how I feel about this live. I never thought I'd be a part of something this good. And each time it's like, you know, it's funny, the more shit I do and the more shit I'm happy about I do, I don't really feel that the sense of ego coming with it as much as I feel like relief and I feel grateful.
Yeah.
Because I think about, like, I could have quit at any point and it would have been kind of valid to quit at any point. Because I had a dude fucking trash me in like 2018. It really hurt me. Like I drove all the way from Sacramento to San Diego, and he was like, you know, why are you putting this together? This doesn't work with this, and this melody doesn't work. And actually, in retrospect, they did work. He just kind of had a really primitive musical mind. I'm not salty at all, as you can see. But and then there were a ton of times where like I just felt so defeated, like I would never do anything good. But it was about team and it was about fit. And I still have no idea why you told me why you started to work with me. It was because I had a good voice and you could tell I cared, or I like took it seriously.
I mean, you know, like part of the thing was I didn't have availability, man. So we were like, yo, I can get you in. If you really want to do this, I can get you in from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Yeah. And we did 6 a.m.
And we did 6 a.m.
We've done
like
early.
We were here at 6 a.m. I think we've done at least 15 6 a.m. sessions.
Wow. Yeah, oh yeah, easy, bro.
A ton of them.
Easy. But that was at the time, that's all I could do, because then I would do another session right after you that had the day booked. And
I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, no, and you know, that I was like, you know what, like, dude, this is like willing to do. By that time I knew you though.
Yeah.
But like that really, I was like, yo, like that work ethic doesn't come in this industry. You know,
it is very rare.
Like a lot of people, you know, like want it and then they realize how much work they have to put into it.
It doesn't make sense to me.
And then they don't want it
and
that
then they
bad.
don't want it that bad.
It's like I have a fire lit under my ass, dude.
Yeah.
You and I have always talked about that because at some point, for me, the deeper I get into it, number one, the more money I've spent.
Yeah.
Number two, the more time I've spent.
Yes.
Number three, the more results I've seen.
Yeah.
All three of them make me want to push harder.
Yeah.
Every single component.
Yeah. Because now you're seeing like when we were working on the record, you're like, dude, you're having some moments where you're like, fuck, man, will we ever finish this shit and all this stuff?
Yeah.
I was like, dude, we're in the middle of the fucking record.
That was lonely though.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have a band and stuff.
Yeah,
That was
you
my
didn't have
first.
a band.
I didn't
you
know
didn't
the process.
have the high of playing with a band,
and I didn't know the process.
And you didn't understand. Yeah, I mean, dude, and also think about this, man. Like your creative circle at that time wasn't big.
No.
Yeah, so you only really knew me, and I think by now at that point, your new vocal coach.
Yes.
Right.
Eric,
so you had no. I think that was really it.
Voco Dojo. Shout out, Eric.
So you'd be by that time you were
so lonely, dude.
Yeah. So you didn't have a lot of creative people around you.
Yeah.
I think what started really like inspiring you a little bit more was when people do have random people come into session like, this is so good. Like, what is this and what is that?
Yeah.
Started bringing in session musicians.
That was huge.
And you started seeing like, oh, I can do this.
It's so funny because I think about it. I've been listening to this podcast called The Rest is History that I'm obsessed with. It's these two English guys, really intelligent and good banter and whatever. And so I'm hearing all these history of certain wars and stuff. And they constantly talk about morale, like of the soldiers and how big of a deal that is. And it was something I never thought about in war. For some reason, I never thought, well, which side has eaten better? Which side is more rested? Which side? Because it's everything. And so I thought about in myself is like, thought about like morale, and like they were huge. The session mission, they were huge for morale. Yeah. Like they made me feel good. I liked being around them. There's a sense of connection. Like, you and I's call on Saturday was morale. Yeah. And it's so important as an artist to get the morale boost however you can. Even if it's like you have a good voice and just playing an open mic and you get that morale boost that you can push the next one. Or somebody compliments you and you get morale and you push and you push. It's like people, moments where I was playing open mics and everyone shut up. And I knew they wanted to hear me. And I went, okay. And you have to like magnify those good moments by like 1,000 and then minimize the shitty ones, because morale is so important in this to keep pushing. Yeah.
No, I totally see that, especially with artists that like are just starting off, or artists that like already up there. It's like, who's their first call?
Yeah.
Who is that person that they can call?
They always, I mean, even the people at the top, they have those people.
Yeah.
Oh, because like I think to some degree, the more success I have, the more security I may have in my ability, but I don't think it'll make me any less neurotic.
Yeah, you'll never get over it.
Yeah, and you and I have talked about this because you were saying each step you go, oh, this is going to be enough, and then it's not enough, right? And I don't see that as like a dissatisfaction, because you seem content and happy with your life and have a good family and stuff, and I feel content right now, and I'm still pushing. To me, it's just a matter of artistic integrity and ambition. If you're somebody who like, I want to have like a life goal of mine. It's really weird. I don't think I've ever told you this, but I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with having a big catalog.
Like songs.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
I want to release hundreds of
songs.
Well,
this is the thing. It's funny you say this, because I remember we started this record to showcase your songwriting.
We did.
That's the reason we started the record.
It's
like, we're just gonna have something to present. And then along the lines, you're like, dude, I think I could do this artist thing.
Yeah, I think I could do the artist thing. Because it's like all I wanted to do was have things to represent my life and to represent my work and represent my brain and get them out of my brain in a way that was intended. Like, because that's ultimately what the goal of any artist is transferring it from your brain out there. That is so hard to do. Like, it's like trying to describe a dream sometimes. It's like, well, I was in here, it was like a fucking toaster oven, which I must have needed for something.
kind of fucking dream.
Exactly, that's my point. You can't explain that shit. And it's like that. And so I feel I will always keep pushing with this shit because I like it. Like, so, you know, maybe I get a bigger gig and it's like 500 people. I'm like, fuck yeah, I play for 500 people. And then I'm used to playing for 500 people. And
When
then
it's
I'm
not
like,
enough.
oh shit, 1,000 people. Fuck, I've never played for 1,000 people. And you're constantly like, because I'm addicted to challenging myself. I have to.
Yeah. And then eventually you'll start writing for other people.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's going to be a challenge,
It'll
right?
be
From different
scary, and then
perspectives.
you get used to it. And then, so what I've learned and like what I've talked about is I know that I'm going to be neurotic when the thing is new, and I've told you that. And so my goal is to do something enough times until it's not new. It's done. It's a habit. It's over. Whatever I do, it was the same thing with college. Like my first couple games, I was really nervous, and then it became normal. Anything you do enough times becomes fucking normal, no matter the gravity.
Yeah.
That's awesome to hear as engineers, because like it keeps us going too. Because you kind of mentioned this before. We kind of are always trying to find the new sound. We're always investing in new gear.
Yeah. I think that fills that void for us.
It fills that void for us.
Preamp and new microphone.
Because if we get new gear, then we're like, okay, there's an artist that we're working with that's also trying to expand and explore their sound.
Yeah.
So it helps us even do that. So that's really awesome to hear. But
I think the weird part is for you guys that, you know, if we have time for me to ask one more question,
Yeah.
is in therapy, there's like a rule of thumb as a therapist, and it's you should never be doing more work than your client. Meaning, if a client is willing, like if they're one of those clients where they can't make it like that week and they work their ass off to reschedule, or I can't make it and they want to reschedule, they want to find it, and they really prioritize that, I'll work my ass off for them. I don't care. Like I'll see it. Like I saw a client yesterday on my Friday.
Say that saying one more time.
Like you should never be working harder than the client.
Like the in your case, the therapist shouldn't be working harder than the client. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, I see. So they're setting the bar, and then you match it, or
if I'm working harder than them, I'm enabling them.
Yes.
Or they're not really building any muscle for them. Like they're
you're
not
carrying
empowering themselves, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And
that's actually a really good saying.
You've talked about having your experience be that sometimes.
Yeah.
But you hold on to them versus like in therapy, at some point, I would actually go, I don't think I'm helping them anymore. Like I think I'm enabling them, and I would get rid of them. And so I'm curious about like your process of when you're noticing a client isn't pushing as hard as you want them to, and it's actually like fucking with you. How do you handle that?
So it's interesting you say that because, you know, like immediately I have a couple people that come to mind. And it's not necessarily, like, it's not something that is an easy conversation to have with people, because essentially you're having to fire yourself from the project. And it's not always going to be an easy conversation. But I think that it's a conversation to talk with them. It's like point out things that they might not be doing that you're like, hey, like I'm over here busting my ass to do all this shit for you, and I'm not seeing anything off of this. You know what I mean? And that weighs on you, man. As an engineer,
it really does. I mean, most of the time, even coming up as an engineer, we go through this a lot, where it's like we don't really have a choice but to work with these clients because we're coming up.
Yeah.
So it's like we have the time. So okay, let me because I'm trying to learn too. So let me put in the time with the client.
Yeah.
But I think as time goes on, and as engineers, as we get busier, it does get easier to kind of say no.
Yeah. It's like, well, the one thing that I could do is tell them, hey, I'm scared, I'm booked, can't do it.
Yeah.
And then you just don't prioritize
in therapy,
that client.
we lie to them.
Oh,
because we'll fire those clients and they'll come back and they'll go, hey, you know, or they'll like not show up anymore, and then they'll come back. Oh, I want to see you again, and then I'll go, I don't have any room in my schedule.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and it's like it's something where you're like, hey, like, well, I can't book you this day, or I can't do this, I can't do that, and it's and you know, like, it's a tricky thing because like, yeah, like some clients, you know, you were probably taking on at the beginning because you were getting experience. So like, you're asking me how would I cope with that? I would use that as learning times. I would use that as like, I'm gonna try this delay, I'm gonna try this, I'm gonna try that, I'm gonna try this plugin, I'm gonna try to do this, whatever. But then you get to the point where you just kind of outgrow the client, and you're just kind of like, well, I'm just coming in here, and then the money isn't even worth it, you know? and then it,
Because you start to get resentful, man.
yeah, you start getting resentful, and then you start coming off as uninvested in a session, and then you start coming off as like uninterested. And then I think at that point, it's not fair to the client either.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
exactly.
you just don't care anymore.
You
You're
just
just
don't
there
care.
for the paycheck.
Yeah,
essentially.
exactly.
And then there's
that sucks.
situations where I'm like, yo, like, I'm not booking you until I see you do this. Simple as that. Like,
Yeah, because sometimes you're friends with those people, so
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you do want to.
you want to see them
We do
succeed.
that. We
There's
do
a
that
fine
too.
line,
Yeah,
right?
there's a
You
fine
want to
line.
push
Hey, I'm not
them
going to
to.
see you, like when a client, like when they're not paying, hey, I'm not going to see you again until you make the payment, or I'm not going to
Exactly.
see
You set boundaries, right? Where it's like, yo, like, I love working with you, you're a homie or whatever, but if I don't see you do this, I can't do this. Because at that, some people, this is the thing, right? Some people just need a push.
Yeah, it's I
But
don't.
it's also not, I'm not getting paid to give them a
you,
push.
you and I were
You know,
talking
like,
about. I don't
It's not my
get
responsibility.
It is 100%. Yeah.
like part of having like a lower, kind of self-esteem at the start of this, and in general, just like constantly, I'm constantly worried of like judgment or alienation or like somebody like thinking I'm a certain way, like making a quick conclusion about me, is like I couldn't imagine going about music or life that way.
Yeah.
Like I really couldn't get it. So my thought process in anything is like I'm always concerned with like the other person. Like oh, they're really good at this, they're really good at this, so I need to keep up with my shit, or I need to do what X, Y, Z. And so it's hard for me to like understand this this ideology of like not being concerned of your appearance or integrity or reputation.
Yeah.
Really confuses me. So I've never thought about like how you would have viewed me and been like, that's a good work ethic or whatever, because that's my life. That's normal to me.
Exactly.
I never had a comparison of other musicians.
And this is why it's tough, right? Because like you literally hit the, I think it's called hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
Where you grew up, so that's normal to you. So
Yeah.
so when you're an engineer and you're trying to push clients, but they're not willing to do it for themselves, you can only do so much for them.
Like,
Because
how
what am I supposed to do? Keep taking their money? No, do that. Like, I also have respect for you, so I'm not gonna just keep taking you the money.
I don't
Like,
get it.
that's
Like
not-
we were
that
talking
doesn't
about, how the
work.
fuck
Yeah.
do you expect to get better? Like really?
Yeah.
Like I will be devastated when somebody tells me something isn't good.
Yeah.
Like I will take it harder than anybody.
Yeah.
Or but the only thing worse than that to me is not fucking knowing. That's my big fear, is not
Well, because if you know you're not good, you can improve.
yes.
But if you don't know and people just keep lying to you, then it's fucked up. You're in
exactly.
limbo.
Exactly. And I don't want that. Yeah. And I also don't want somebody feeling like they have to like carry me. And there's also no fucking way to be good without time and experience.
Yeah,
it's impossible, man.
Right. And trusting people, just going
Trusting
back to that,
people, yeah.
because in a sense, as engineers, like we're not going to always just work with someone that's super talented, right?
Yeah.
It's actually more engaging, and there's way more satisfaction developing somebody.
Yeah.
And going through that process with them, because
That makes sense.
we can see that.
Yeah, you see the potential.
Actually, sometimes we see what they cannot.
Yeah, exactly.
And in this situation, right? Like Vic, probably when he first worked with you, you had this like, he's got something.
Yeah.
He's got the work ethic. Maybe we're not there right now.
Yeah.
We'll
But
get there.
you already saw it, and look at how far you've come.
Yeah. I that's what I was telling my mom about, like the difference between musical talent for me and like athletic talent.
Yeah.
Is for me, moving was so instinctive.
Yeah.
That it was kind of obvious in retrospect that I had athletic talent with like the shit I was doing, which was weird. Like jumping a staircase at like 11 years old, like broad jumping.
Yeah, that's very, very direct. You can see it right away.
Yeah, it's like, whoa, what the fuck? But musical talent, it takes the work before you get to see it.
Yes.
It's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
something
no, literally.
like in football. It's like you see the talent, and then it's like, oh, we need to work that person because they have potential. Yeah. Music, it's like no, you work and then you get to see it.
Yeah, like
flourish.
no kid grows up knowing how to play a drum set.
No, it's
you
like
see the rhythm.
You
can
kind of see the rhythm a little bit,
yeah.
But it's not there. It's like I was instantly pretty good at football because I could run around.
Yes.
It was like a whole different experience. So like I didn't get to know I had a good voice until I worked to have a good voice. Yeah. There was no option.
And everybody that's heard you sing, they're like, oh, damn, your voice is captivating. Or they like this, or they're like, oh, you're smooth.
And
or
that's like
this, you
yeah,
know?
and I kind of identify with Ed Sheeran in that sense because he was talking about like how, like he was like, dude, he
I
didn't,
compared him to Shawn Mendes.
he couldn't, he like couldn't sing well, and he didn't write well, and then he did it a ton of times, and now he seems a fantastic singer,
He's
fantastic
selling out
writer.
stadiums. Man.
Yeah, exactly. He's like one of the biggest artists in the world, but it's like I think you have to identify in anything like as an artist, you have to have the work ethic before you have anything else.
Yes.
Because the work ethic is how you develop, and you're developing everything all the time.
Literally, and those are instinctual values that are inside a human being that they grew up with. That like they just it's either gonna make them or break them, because like one person can only carry the other person for so long.
It's having a bad relationship with your father. I mean, it comes down to that. Thanks, Dad.
But yeah, I mean,
like, you get it.
I get it. I get it
You
too.
get
You know,
it,
but like
yeah.
you know, but a lot of it is that, man. Like if you really look at the picture and you're like, man, like you can only, going back to answering your question, it was like you can only help somebody for so long.
Yeah.
And that's just like you can't help somebody that doesn't want to be helped and doesn't want to hear it. Like
No.
you can't help them. Like you can only do so much for them. You can show up and help and do your thing, but you get to the point where
And
it's like, is this even worth my time?
And that's part of what confidence, that's what self-esteem is.
Yeah.
Is as soon as you handle something you're afraid of enough times, you feel like you're tough.
Yeah.
Like you feel like you can fucking handle shit.
Yeah.
And like ultimately, I think that gets you further than anything is this sense of resilience. Like, dude, like for example, like when you were working at HEB and doing this shit at nights, like you were working at HEB at nights, right?
That was HEB and what?
You were working HEB at nights and
Oh
engineering during the day.
yeah,
you were fucking grinding.
Yeah, I was grinding, bro.
So
even when 2 in the morning,
and you've
bro.
been
2 in the morning to 10
insanely
a.m.
busy now.
And then now doing this.
You've been busy now, and you're still, part of you is like, dude, I did that shit. I can do this.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, and that's how it is. And
I mean,
you
I just did it on a 14-hour session that we were doing on Friday.
It's like, I can do that.
Right.
Like, dude, it's like, yeah, like you figure like
I'd rather find out if I can do it than stop early.
The talent isn't obvious. If the talent is obvious, you're too late. Because that person's already been engaged with other people or whatever. But when
it's harder for them, I think, because if you have that talent off the bat, it's really hard for them
to a little bit to get criticism.
Exactly, so like, because you also got into music a little later.
I didn't do anything musical until I was like 19.
But I think if you would have done it from a younger age, I think you would have been in a different position now.
I told my mom I would have been a little bitch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, you would have. You probably you
coming from sports is what helped me with this.
You give off diva vibes, not in a bad way, but like, you learn how to, bro. I mean, like
feeble-minded diva.
Oh wow!
This is called being a great engineer. Call your artist feeble-minded.
Nah, I mean, bro. I mean, you saw it today. He got hungry and he was all pissed off. Like, that's normal, right? Like, it's not that it's wrong. It's just that's just how your personality works.
Yeah.
Now, you being a mental health therapist helps you recognize that.
Yeah.
Whereas other artists have no idea why they're being that way.
Yeah.
And that makes it difficult. You suggested, hey, I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, I need to eat.
I didn't know that. I was just like, yo, you're just pissing me off. And I'm pissing you off. Like,
well, the song was pissing me off. And as soon as that happens, I go, I need to eat.
Exactly. So you recognize something inside of you that's like, no, this is not correct.
Self-aware.
You're self-aware.
Which is great.
Yeah, self-awareness is huge as an artist, So like, but yeah, man, I mean, any last questions or anything?
Well, yeah, I mean, what's, just to wrap this up, like, what are you excited for in the near future? I know we just did this live session.
Yeah.
You want to plug your music, anything, man?
Yeah, dude. Let's see. I have, God damn, dude. I've been up since like 4:30. Next month, the first Friday of the month, I have a single. So I have I Want You coming out. And then the month after that, the first Friday is The Grave coming out, that single. And then a month from that, so the first week of July, I have the whole album coming out. So my first album. And then I have to figure out when the hell I'm going to release the live shit I think it's going to be later this year, maybe the fall.
Yeah.
And then after that, it'll be the next album cycle, which I'm excited about, and the sounds of that. Some darker pop, shit like that.
Yeah.
Diva, You know, just as
Diva
you said,
album. Feeble-minded
Feeble-minded
diva.
diva. That should be my stage name. Like Chaperone's got her drag.
Feeble-minded diva.
Yeah, I'm in drag as a feeble-minded diva.
Yeah,
But
man.
yeah, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for
Yeah, dude.
joining this podcast.
Yeah, bro.
And
Thank you.
depending when this goes out, the dates might be different. So,
Yeah, that's
but
fine.
yeah.
Yeah. Either
Well,
way.
thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, man, of
Appreciate
course.
it.
Yeah, man. We'll look forward to seeing you maybe for part 2, bro.
Part
Yeah,
2.
definitely. We got to do a part 2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man.
I'm excited.
All right, bro. Appreciate it, man.